What is happening, gamers? This is Bradley and welcome back to another one of my tasty news roundups. So to kick us off is that Monster Hunter 4 has been selling crazy well over in Japan, and it's actually the franchise's biggest debut ever. So you can mark that off as a +1 for the 3DS. So in the game's first week, which is actually just 2 days, the game was able to sell 1.7 million copies of the game, and that isn't even including all the digital copies that were sold. If you include those in, the sales reached nearly 2 million copies sold. That's pretty good. So with this game being the best launch for the franchise so far, maybe that will mean something for people outside of Japan. Maybe it'll give Capcom more an incentive to release it elsewhere, but as of right now we have no confirmation of that happening. They did localize Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and that was pretty well received, so maybe they'll do it with Monster Hunter 4 too. But in other sales news is that Pokemon X and Y has reached a new milestone in terms of pre-orders. The games have actually been able to harbor in 1 million pre-orders. So that number could translate into 1 million sales on that first day, if everybody decides to pick up their pre-orders on that day. But that's not even counting all the people who don't pre-order the games that are going to be picking it up, and like all the parents who are going to go out and pick up the games for their kids. So things are looking pretty good for the launch of Pokemon X and Y. But we also got to look at a couple new Pokemon that will be making an appearance in Pokemon X and Y. They're actually the fossil type Pokemon that will be appearing in those games. So for the little T-Rex Pokemon Tyrant, that will evolve into a bigger T-Rex known as Tyrantrum. He's actually a rock dragon type and he has the ability Strong Jaw. Plus he has a beard, so he's got some class. And as for the little long neck Pokemon known as Amara, that will actually be able to evolve into a bigger long neck known as Aurora, and it's able to learn the new move Freeze Dry, which is super effective against water types. But in other news, that if you're hoping that Retro Studios would be the one team that would be picked to work on a new Metroid game, well, Shigeru Miyamoto stated that they are actually a very high priority in terms of a potential team to work on a new Metroid game. Now Miyamoto didn't go out and say that Retro is working on a new Metroid right now, but I guess if whenever it comes to fruition, it's more likely that Retro will be the ones that will develop it. But along with that, Miyamoto also stated that he thinks Retro is at the point where they can juggle multiple projects at once, even though Retro stated before that they like to work on one project at any given point. But maybe Miyamoto's hinting at something here. Maybe Retro is working on Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and alongside that they're secretly working on a new Metroid. We just don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And finally is that it appears that the 3D platforming collectathon Kickstarter project known as A Hat in Time might be making its way over to the Wii U, because the developer for the game stated on Twitter that there is good news on the Wii U front, but he just can't talk about it at the moment. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb and interpret that there will be a Wii U version. We'll just have to stay tuned. But that will bring us to the end of my delicious news roundup. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up and add your favorites and all that good stuff. And also, as I stated before, there will be a review for the Wind Waker HD. I have started playing it, I beat the first dungeon, and I like having the inventory on the gamepad screen. It just makes it more convenient. But that will bring us to the end of the news, and I will talk to you later in the next video, guys. Bye!